I died choking on my own blood in the twisted wreckage of that goddamn Escalade. The kind of luxury cage my parents had shoved me into like a sacrificial lamb. The last thing I saw before the world went black was my mother's face in the rear-view mirror. Twisted not in horror, but in cold calculation. Her lips mouthing, "It had to be done," as the brakes failed and the cliff edge rushed up to swallow us whole. And then, like some cosmic joke from a sadistic screenwriter, I woke up gasping in my old bedroom. The calendar on the wall screaming December 20th, 5 days before the Christmas that would have been my last. My body young again. My scars erased. But the rage? That burned eternal. It hit me like a freight train through Central Park. I was 28. Not the crumpled corpse they'd buried with a closed casket lie about a tragic accident. Penelope Hargrove. The dutiful daughter who'd clawed her way through Yale Law on scholarships they pretended to fund, only to be discarded when I stumbled too close to their dirty little empire.
聽眾聲, Zabit.
They call it in those trashy novels I used to sneak read in the dorms. Wasn't a gift. It was a loaded .45. And I was finger-fucking the trigger already. This time, I wouldn't play the fool. This time, I'd burn their world down from the inside. Starting with that cursed family trip to Aspen they'd insisted on. The one that masked their final play to silence me forever. I rolled out of bed, my heart hammering like I'd just mainlined espresso. The mirror showed my face, sharp cheekbones, hazel eyes that used to trust too easily, now hardened like flint. Downstairs, the brownstone hummed with pre-holiday bullshit, Bing Crosby crooning from the speakers. The scent of Mom's spiked eggnog wafting up. Dad was in the study, probably crunching numbers on his investments, those Ponzi schemes he'd roped half of Manhattan's elite into. I'd found the ledger's last life, hidden in the wine cellar. Rows of falsified trusts and embezzled funds from the family foundation, millions siphoned to offshore accounts while they posed as philanthropists at galas. And me? I'd been the loose end, the lawyer who'd started asking questions after a whistleblower tip. Family first, they'd said, right before drugging my drink and staging the crash. Penny?
That you?
Sweetie. Mom's voice floated up, all honeyed concern. Evelyn Hargrove, queen of the Upper East Side, with her Botox smile and Birkin bags stuffed with secrets. I gripped the banister, nails digging into wood, forcing a laugh that sounded like shattered glass in my throat. Yeah.
Mom. Just
had the weirdest dream. I descended the stairs, each step a countdown to detonation. The living room was a winter wonderland of excess, a 15-foot Fraser for dripping ornaments, crystal garlands looping the chandelier, and a catered spread from Dean and DeLuca that could feed a block party. Dad emerged from the study, Silver Fox handsome in his cashmere sweater, clapping me on the back like we were still the picture-perfect Hargroves. There's our girl. Listen, we've got big news. Family trip to Aspen. Private jet leaves in 3 days. No excuses this year. His eyes twinkled, but I saw the flicker, the same one from the moments before the plunge. They weren't asking, they were herding me to the slaughterhouse. Last time, I'd said yes. Burned out from 90-hour weeks at the firm, desperate for their approval after years of, "You're not like your brother. Penny, prove you're worth it." I'd packed my Louis Vuitton, kissed the doorman goodbye, and boarded that jet with champagne flutes and false cheer. Midway through the flight, the sedative in my mimosa kicked in, and I woke strapped into the SUV they'd rented for the slopes, with a doped-up driver who'd vanish after the accident. Turns out, brother dearest, Landon, had tipped them off about my digging. The golden boy, the hedge fund prince, who'd inherited all if I just disappeared. Not this year. Dead, I said, casual as flipping off a cop. Their faces froze mid-smile, Mom's martini glass hovering, Dad's jaw clenching like he'd swallowed a lemon. I've got depositions stacking up. Firms breathing down my neck. The silence stretched taut as a garrote. Mom recovered first, setting her glass down with a crystal clink. Penelope, this is tradition. The whole family, Landon's flying in from London. Your aunties too. You can't bail again. Again? Like I'd ever had a choice. Tradition's overrated.
Mom.
Besides, I heard about the foundation audit. Might need to stick around for that. I dropped the bombs soft, watching their pupils dilate. The audit was the spark last time, the IRS sniffing too close. And me the idiot who'd volunteered to clean it up, only to find the rot went bone deep. Dad's laugh barked out. Forced. Audit? Old news.
Kiddo.
All squared away. Come on. Aspen's calling. Fresh powder. Hot toddies, think of it as a reset. A reset. Yeah.
For them.
I leaned against the mantel, fire crackling like my nerves. Or maybe I think of it as a chance to finally talk about the vineyard account. You know, the one with the ghost transfers to Cayman. Their eyes met, mine locked on, unblinking. This was the hook. The first reel-in. Last life. I'd waited too long to confront. This time, I'd gut them slow. Mom's hand fluttered to her pearls. Darling, you're overtired. Jet lag from that Tokyo trip? Perhaps? Let's not air laundry at the holidays. But I was done folding. Air it? Or bury it? Like you planned for me. The words hung. Venomous. Landon's text buzzed my phone then early. Like he sensed the shift. Cease. Pumped for Aspen? Dad says you're being a drag. I deleted it. Smirking.
Oh.
Little brother. You have no idea. Dinner that night was a minefield. The dining room table groaned under prime rib and heirloom china, but the air crackled with unspoken nukes. Aunt Clara prattled about her latest facelift. Uncle Ted droned on about golf scores, but my parents' eyes kept darting to me like I was a live grenade. I picked at my food, mind racing through timelines. In 3 days.
The jet.
5 days to Christmas Eve. When they'd corner me in the chalet, ply me with lies and laced wine. 2 weeks after. The crash on the icy pass, driver paid off. Brakes tampered. My body mangled beyond recognition. The headlines, tragic end for heiress in ski mishap. Inheritance funneled to Landon. Foundation scrubbed clean by bought-off lawyers. I needed proof this round, irrefutable. Courtroom grade. Last life. I trusted whispers. This time, I'd hack the vaults. After dessert, tiramisu laced with passive aggression, I excused myself to pack, but detoured to the wine cellar. The lock was child's play. I'd memorized the combo from Dad's birthday toast last year. Rows of Bordeaux stared back, but behind a false panel, spotted during a tipsy hide-and-seek as a kid, there it was, the safe. Fingers steady. I spun the dial, July 24th, 89. My birth date. The sick irony.
Inside.
Flash drives. Ledgers. Emails printed in triplicate. Eliminate liability. One read. Signed Yates. My blood ran cold, then hot. Evidence jackpot. Upstairs. I stashed it in my laptop bag, encrypted with Yale-honed skills. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of twisted metal and maternal whispers. Morning brought Landon tall, tousled, the prodigal son in Tom Ford everything. He hugged me at the door, cologne sharp as his deceit.
Penny.
Missed you.
Sis.
What's this I hear about skipping Aspen? I pulled back, studying his too perfect grin. Life's too short for bad trips.
Lan.
Speaking of, how's that London fund? Profitable? Or just laundering daddy's sins? His laugh faltered, eyes narrowing. Bingo. The days blurred into a tense tango. Mom ramped up the guilt-tripping, tearful voicemails about family bonds, spa packages as bribes. Dad cornered me in the study, bourbon breath hot. You're throwing away everything we built. Penelope. For what? Some moral high ground. I met his gaze. Unflinching. Everything you built on lies?
Nah.
I'm reclaiming it. Christmas Eve dawned brittle, snow flurrying past the windows like fleeing secrets. The tree lights mocked us, casting shadows that danced like accusations. Guests milled, socialites in velvet gowns, champagne bubbling like suppressed rage. I wore black, a widow's weeds for the family I'd lost twice over. Landon sidled up during carols, voice low. You're fucking this up.
Pen.
Drop the audit shit.
Or
what? You'll push me off another cliff. His face blanched, eyed struck vein deep. The confrontation brewed all evening, simmering under forced toasts. Then, as midnight mass bells tolled from St. Pat's down the block, Mom pulled me aside in the powder room, her reflection manicured claws on my arm. Penelope. Enough. The trip's tomorrow. Go. Or you're no daughter of mine. Her eyes, once warm, were ice picks. Last life, I'd crumbled, begged forgiveness. This time, I twisted free. Voice steel. Daughter, I was your cleanup crew.
Mom.
The fall guy for your fraud. But newsflash, I'm walking, and I'm taking the files with me. She slapped me sharp, echoing off marble. The sting bloomed, but I laughed, low and feral. That's the disowning part? Pathetic. Merry Christmas. I stormed out, guests parting like the Red Sea, whispers trailing. Dad caught me at the door, coat in hand. Penelope. Wait.
No.
I yanked it on, snow swirling in welcome. Tell Landon I said hi. And watch your backs. The door slammed, sealing their empire in festive farce. I hailed a cab to my firm's safe house, a sublet in Brooklyn, far from their reach. There, alone with a bottle of scotch and the ledgers, I applauded. Calls to the U.S. Attorney's office. Anonymous drops to the Times. But revenge wasn't just exposure, it was personal. I dismantled them piece by glittering piece. January thawed the city, but my warpath scorched. The audit exploded into a federal probe, headlines screaming, Hargrove Foundation scandal, embezzlement ring exposed. Dad's face on every channel. That silver fox now a cornered rat. Mom retreated to spa retreats, but I knew better. Plastic surgery to flee abroad. Landon? His London deals crumbled under SEC scrutiny. The brother who'd sold me out now begging voicemails. Sis.
Help me.
It wasn't like that. I ghosted them all, building my case from shadows. Nights blurred into depositions, allies emerging from old law school ghosts. But the real gut punch came mid-February, as indictments loomed. A knock at my door, frantic, pounding. Through the peephole, Mom. Disheveled in a Burberry trench. No makeup. Eyes hollowed like a junkie's. Penny,
Please.
open up. Her voice cracked. The first real fracture. I cracked the door. Chain taut. What? Evelyn? Come to confess. She collapsed against the frame.
Sobbing.
They took everything. The house. The accounts. Landon's in custody. Your father. He's talking. Blaming me. We need you. Family. Remember? The plea twisted like a knife, echoing her last words before the crash. But this time, I saw the ploy, fishing for leverage, maybe a bribe or blackmail flip. Family, I spat, unchaining fully, stepping into the hall light. You murdered me for this. Strapped me in that SUV. Watched me die to protect your lies. Her eyes widened. Terror. Not denial.
What? No.
The crash was an accident. Liar. I shoved the printout at her. The email chain detailing the sabotage. You orchestrated it. All of you. She crumpled, wailing, neighbors peeking. But as sirens wailed distant, cops for her arrest warrant, I felt the twist coil. Mercy? Or the final cut. End of file 1 to 1002 words. I let her sob on my doorstep. The snow from that Christmas long melted into slushy gutters. But the chill in my veins?
Permanent.
3 months since I'd walked out. And here she was, the architect of my first death. Reduced to this, snot-nosed and desperate, clutching my sleeve like a lifeline. Part of me, the old Penelope who'd craved their scraps of love, wanted to haul her inside, brew tea, pretend we could rewrite the script. But the reborn me? She whispered, make it hurt. Get up, I said, voice flat as a judge's gavel. You don't get to break here. Not on my terms. She staggered to her feet, mascara rivers carving her cheeks. Penny, baby. I swear, the crash. It was Landon's idea. He forged the emails, paid the driver. Your father and I. We covered it up. Yes, but we loved you. Loved me. The word landed like acid on an open wound. In my first life, I'd bought that lie hook,
Line.
and Learjet. After Yale, I joined the family firm not for glory, but to bridge the gap, Landon the wild child, me the fixer. I'd buried their skeletons, fudged tax filings for the foundation, hushed up a board member's suicide after Dad's persuasive loans. But when the whistleblower, a junior accountant I'd mentored, mailed me the Cayman's docs, I'd hesitated. Told Landon in confidence. Big mistake. He'd looped in Mom, who'd convinced Dad it was mercy to stage my exit. Clean slate for the empire.
Now.
With feds circling like vultures. They were flipping the script, each ratting the other to save their hides. I drag her inside, not from pity, but calculus. She was the key to the final twist, the offshore codes only she knew, buried in a Swiss vault under her maiden name. Sit, I ordered, shoving her onto the couch. The sublet was sparse, IKEA futon, case files stacked like Jenga, a half-dead ficus mocking domesticity. She perched, wringing her hands. What do you want? Money? The jet? Name it. I laughed, bitter as black coffee. What I want. You can't give back. 42 years cut short. Choking on dashboard shards while you watched from the chopper overhead. Her gasp was genuine. Or close enough. How do you? No? Because I lived it,
Mom.
died in it, and woke up to do it right. The confession spilled. Raw and reckless, every detail of the blackout. The rebirth. The burning vow. Her face cycled shock to denial to dawning horror. Impossible. You're delusional. Stress. Save it for the plea deal. I pulled on my laptop. Screen glowing with wire transfers I'd traced last week. Hers. Funneling the last $2 mill to a Zurich account. Give me the access codes. Full confession on tape. Or I let the feds take you as is, life without Chanel. She bargained. Of course. Tearful tales of Dad's abuse. Landon's coke-fueled rages. How I'd been collateral in their survival game. I recorded it all. Hidden mic catching the sobs and sins. By dawn, she was broken. Codes scribbled on a napkin. Voice hoarse. Forgive me.
Penny.
Please. Forgiveness? A myth for Hallmark cards. I escorted her to the door. Sirens now blocks away. Tell Dad hi from the grave. And Landon? Rot. The cuffs clicked as they hauled her away. Her wail echoing down the stairwell. Catharsis? Partial. But the real storm brewed with Brother Boy. Landon's arraignment was a circus, paparazzi flashbulbs popping like gunfire outside the federal courthouse in Foley Square. I slipped in back row anonymous. Trench coat and shades masking the Avenger. He looked smaller in orange jumpsuit, hair greasy, pleading not guilty to conspiracy and fraud. Our eyes met across the room, his widened, then narrowed to slits. Post-hearing. As they let him out, he mouthed, "You bitch." I mouthed back,
Guilty.
That night, my burner rang unknown number. Sis, his voice slurred. Prison scotch, no doubt. Heard about Mom's meltdown. You set us up good. Chuckle low. But you forget I know you. That soft spot for family. Drop the charges. Or I spill your secrets too. My secrets? The ones I'd buried deeper than theirs. The affair with my professor senior year. The falsified internship app that got me the firm gig. The one-night stand with the whistleblower that birthed a kid I'd given up closed adoption. Landon had dug them up last life. Used them to blackmail me into silence pre-crash. Spill what?
Lon?
That I'm human? Try me.
Click.
The threats escalated. Anonymous emails with grainy photos of me at a clinic. Whispers to my boss about ethical lapses. The firm suspended me pending review. Ironic. After I'd leaked the Hargrove files to clear my name. Sleepless. I hit the streets. Pounding pavement from Brooklyn to the Village. Chasing ghosts. That's when I met Jax, ex-IRS auditor turned PI. Nursing a whiskey at a dive called the Rusty Nail. I'd hired him weeks back to tail Landon's accomplices, but tonight, he was off clock. Eyes sharp over his glass. Penny Hargrove. Or should I say, Lazarus? He slid a dossier across the scarred bar top. Inside, Landon's prison logs. Visits from a fixer named Rocco, Dad's old enforcer. The one who'd tampered the brakes. Your brother's planning a play. Hit on you. Frame it as suicide. Thinks it'll sympathy his case. Ice water in veins. When? Tomorrow. Your walk home from here. Jax's grin was wolfish. Brooklyn born and bred. But I got a counter. We flip Rocco. Get him singing.
We did.
Rocco cracked like an egg under Jax's bad cop routine, tape confessions spilling the crash details. Landon's orders. Even Mom's sign-off. By week's end, additional charges stacked. Murder 1. Landon's bail revoked. Face on wanted lists when he bolted, fled to that London flat, thinking extradition a joke. I didn't laugh. I flew economy. No jets this life. Landing in Heathrow fog with Jax in tow. The raid was textbook. Met police breaching at dawn. Me watching from an unmarked van. Heart thundering. Landon, half-dressed and high, lunged for a window, tasered midair, crashing like Icarus. Cuffed and snarling. He spat at me through the glass. You are always the weak link.
Pen.
Should have finished you proper.
Weak.
I leaned close, breath fogging the pain. That's the twist, brother. I'm the blade. Extradition dragged months. Headlines feasting. Hargrove air nabbed in drug-fueled flight. Back stateside. The trial loomed, a three-ring inferno in Manhattan Supreme. Dad turned states. Trading testimony for reduced time, Mom crumbled on the stand. Her love for me a punchline. Landon? Stone-cold denial till the end. But the tape's mine. Rocco's sealed it. Closing arguments. I took the floor as witness. Voice steady under fluorescence. They didn't just steal money. They stole lives, mine twice over. Jury out 2 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencings hit like thunder. Dad. 25 to life, Mom. 15 with possibility. Landon. Life without. The courtroom erupted, reporters scrambling. Family, friends scattering like roaches. I walked out free, Jax's hand on my elbow. City sun breaking clouds. But victory tasted ash. That night, alone in the reclaimed brownstone auctioned cheap, mine now. I poured scotch, toasting ghosts. The ficus thrived, a metaphor maybe. Calls came, old colleagues offering partnerships. The adoption agency with a letter from my kid, now 10, curious. Jack stuck around, his rough edges softening mine. Rebirth wasn't erasure, it was rewrite. Yet the final hook twisted deepest. A manila envelope, unmarked, slipped under my door 6 months post-verdict. Inside a photo, yellowed, me as infant, cradled not by Evelyn, but a stranger, eyes like mine. Note clipped, your real mother died in childbirth. Hargroves bought you, raised you as pawn. Blood don't lie, but choices do. Landon's last laugh from Supermax. Or truth. DNA test confirmed, not theirs by birth. The betrayal layered infinite, stolen not just once, but from cradle. Rage flared, then ebbed to resolve. I'd avenge the original sin too. Someday. For now, I lived fierce, unapologetic. The phoenix they couldn't cage. Christmas approached again. Lights twinkling innocent. This year, I'd host strangers. Build new traditions. No cliffs.
No crashes.
Just me. Unbroken. Epilogue?
Nah.
Life's no tidy bow. But if you're wondering, reader, stranger scrolling this digital confessional I penned post-trial. Leaked to clear the last shadows, here's the gut punch coda. Turns out, the kid from that one-night stand? Not just a ghost. The adoption papers I'd signed sealed, but Jax's PI magic cracked them open. Emily, 10 going on fierce. Hazel eyes mirroring mine. Raised by a Jersey couple who'd poured love into the void I left. Her letter, scrawled in purple gel, I always knew I had a superhero mom somewhere.
Can we meet? We did.
Central Park. under the same snow-dusted bridges where I'd plotted my first vengeful steps. She hugged like a storm, wild curls tickling my chin, questions tumbling. Did you fight dragons? Is that why you're famous? I laughed. Real this time. No shards. Something like that.
Kiddo.
Bad wizards. Mostly. Her guardians watched, cautious but kind, and over hot cocoa at a cart. We talked, not promises, but possibilities. Co-parenting classes. Weekends in the brownstone with Jack's flipping pancakes. Family. Redefined on my terms. The Hargroves? Rotting in their concrete tombs. Dad's appeals bounced like bad checks. Mom's remorse letters went unread. Shredded for kindling. Landon? Solitary for shanking a guard. Poetic. The betrayer betrayed. The foundation? I rebuilt it clean. Scholarships for kids like whistleblower me. Underfunded dreamers clawing from the margins. Manhattan whispered my name now. Not as victim, but vigilante. Penelope Hargrove. The woman who ate her own and spat out justice. Galas invited me as keynote, not garnish. I declined most, preferring dive bars with Jacks. Dissecting cases over pool and pilsners. But the real controversy? The decisions that kept lawyers up nights. Ethicists clutching pearls. Like leaking the family server to WikiLeaks pretrial, raw emails exposing not just fraud, but ties to political donors, senators sweating under spotlights. Vigilante justice, they called it on Fox. Heroic hack on MSNBC. Protests outside the courthouse, half chanting my name, half burning effigies. I didn't testify for absolution. I did it to scar the system. Force reforms on whistleblower protections. Corporate veils torn wide. Caused a Senate bill, even Hargrove Act, mandating audits for family foundations. Ironic legacy from blood money. Twists kept coming, like aftershocks. That yellowed photo led to a cold case, my birth mom's hit and run, covered up by Hargrove connections to secure the adoption. I cracked it with Jax, nailing a retired fixer who'd retired the evidence. No body, but closure, her name, Clara Voss, etched on a plaque I funded at a women's shelter. Emily visited with me, placing daisies. For the grandma I never met, she said. Kids got instincts. And the rebirth? It lingered. A low hum. Dreams still jerked me awake. Metal crunching. Blood coppery on tongue. But they fueled, not felled. Therapy unpacked the rage. Turned it to rocket fuel. I quit the firm. Hung a shingle. Hargrove and Voss. Pro bono for the betrayed. First client? A tech was stiffed by her startup bros. Echoes of my corporate cage. We won. Big settlement funded Emily's college. Sight unseen. Christmas, that second go-round? Epic. Brownstone aglow. But guess my tribe. Jax's ragtag crew. Emily and her folks. Even the whistleblower's widow.
Toasting seconde chance.
No eggnog too tainted but mulled wine and stories. Laughter drowning old ghosts. As midnight struck, snow falling soft, I stepped onto the stoop, breath fogging like promise. The city pulsed below, alive with secrets untold. Mine? Out in the open, weaponized. Had I gone too far? The leaks. The confrontations, morally gray, legally dicey. Critics called me monster, mirror of my makers. Maybe. But in the mirror now, I saw survivor, scarred. Yes, but sovereign. They disowned me once, begged later. I chose neither forgiveness nor oblivion. I chose me. And in this American grind, cutthroat, comeback-fueled, that's the ultimate revenge. Word to the wise, betray a phoenix, and she'll rise not just from ashes, but with a flamethrower. Merry fucking Christmas.